Welcome back to our transformation journey, everyone. This is Dawn Catalyst, and this is day 5 of our special series designed to help you unlock your fullest potential. If you've been with us from the beginning, you've already discovered powerful tools for emotional intelligence, mindfulness practices, and self awareness techniques. If you're just joining us today, welcome. I recommend checking out our previous episodes after this one, but today's topic stands powerfully on its own. Today, we're diving deep into something that silently shapes every decision you make: your core values. These internal guiding principles are like the invisible operating system running in the background of your life, often unexamined, yet incredibly powerful. By the end of our time together, you'll understand not just what your core values truly are, but how they're actively shaping your choices right now, and how to consciously align them for a more authentic, purposeful life. Let's begin this transformative exploration together. Section 1: What are core values? So, what exactly are core values? At their essence, core values are your fundamental beliefs, the deep seated principles that guide your behavior and influence your decisions. They're not just abstract concepts, they're the reasons why some choices feel deeply right to you, while others create that uncomfortable sense of internal conflict, even when you can't immediately explain why. Think of core values as your internal compass. When you're aligned with them, life flows with greater ease. When you're acting against them, you'll often feel that internal resistance, that nagging feeling that something isn't quite right. Let me share a quick story that illustrates this perfectly. Sarah was offered a prestigious job with an impressive salary, far more than she was making at her current position. From the outside, it seemed like an obvious choice. Yet something kept her from saying yes immediately. After reflection, she realized that while the new role offered financial security, it would require her to compromise on something she deeply valued: her ability to be present for her family. The demanding travel schedule would mean missing important moments with her children. This wasn't just about preference, it was about a direct conflict with one of her core values: family connection. Once she recognized this, her decision became clear, even though it wasn't the choice others might have made in her position. That's the thing about core values, they're deeply personal. What's non negotiable for you might not be for someone else, and vice versa. Some common core values include authenticity, compassion, freedom, growth, security, connection, achievement, creativity, justice, integrity. But these are just starting points. Your unique combination of values creates the foundation for how you move through the world. Now, let's get interactive for a moment. I want you to think about a recent decision you made that felt completely right, where you had that sense of, yes, this is absolutely the right choice. It could be something significant or seemingly small. Now consider, what underlying value might that decision have honored? Was it about connection, truth, growth, security? This reflection process is our first step toward greater value awareness. Section 2: Values Clarification Exercise. Now that we understand what core values are, let's discover yours through a simple but powerful exercise. Grab a piece of paper and something to write with if you can. If you're driving or unable to write right now, that's okay, just follow along mentally, and you can do the written portion later. First, I want you to think about a peak moment in your life, a time when you felt completely alive, fulfilled, and like you were living as your truest self. This could be a professional achievement, a meaningful connection, an act of service, or even a quiet moment of personal realization. What was happening in that moment? Who were you being? What made it feel so significant and aligned? Now, let's try the opposite perspective. Think about a time when you felt deeply uncomfortable with a situation or decision, when something felt off or wrong to you, even if you couldn't immediately explain why. What boundary or principle was being crossed in that situation? What felt compromised? These contrasting experiences offer powerful clues about your core values. The peak moments often represent times when multiple core values were being honored simultaneously. The uncomfortable moments typically signal when important values were being compromised. Let me walk you through a personal example. When I reflected on my own peak moments, I noticed many involved creative collaboration with others toward a meaningful goal. Looking deeper, I identified that connection, creativity, and purpose were central values for me. This explained why solo work, even when successful, often left me feeling less fulfilled than collaborative projects with clear impact. Similarly, my moments of discomfort often involved situations where transparency was lacking or where I felt pressure to present myself inauthentically. This helped me recognize that authenticity and honesty are non negotiable values for me. Now, based on your reflections, I invite you to write down or mentally note 5 7 words that might represent your core values. Don't worry about getting them perfect. This is an evolving process of discovery. Great, now let's refine this list. Look at the values you've identified and ask, which of these feel absolutely essential to who I am? Which would I be unwilling to compromise, even under pressure? Which explain many of my strongest emotional reactions? Now, circle or mentally highlight the 3 5 values that feel most central to who you are. These represent your current understanding of your core values, the principles that guide your decisions and shape your life satisfaction. Keep in mind that while core values tend to remain relatively stable, they can evolve and shift in priority throughout different life stages. What's important is developing awareness of what they are right now. Section 3, Values in Everyday Decisions. Now that you've identified some of your core values, let's explore how they're actively influencing your everyday decisions, often without your conscious awareness. Every day, you make hundreds of choices, from the seemingly insignificant to the obviously important. What's fascinating is how your core values are silently guiding those decisions. Let's look at some relatable examples. Consider something as simple as how you spend your Sunday afternoon. If you value personal growth, you might naturally gravitate toward reading, taking a course, or developing a skill. If connection is a core value, you might prioritize time with loved ones or reaching out to friends. If creativity drives you, you might feel drawn to artistic expression or innovative problem solving. None of these choices is inherently better than the others. What matters is whether they align with your authentic values. Or think about career decisions. Someone who deeply values security might choose a stable job with benefits over a higher paying but less reliable opportunity. Someone who values freedom might make the exact opposite choice. Neither is wrong, they're simply honoring different core values. Let me share another real life example that illustrates how values guide decisions. Miguel worked at a company where he was respected and well compensated. However, he noticed that the company's practices were increasingly at odds with his core value of environmental responsibility. The internal conflict grew until he finally made the difficult decision to leave for a position at a smaller, more environmentally conscious company, even though it meant a pay cut. From the outside, this might have seemed like an unwise career move. But for Miguel, it was a necessary realignment with his values, and the relief he felt afterward confirmed it was the right choice for him. Here's where it gets really interesting, and where awareness becomes so powerful. Many of our internal conflicts and difficult decisions arise when two or more of our values seem to be in opposition. Imagine you value both family connection and career achievement. A promotion opportunity arises that would advance your career significantly, but require more travel away from your family. The tension you feel isn't just about logistics, it's about competing values. Or perhaps you value both honesty and kindness. When a friend asks for your opinion on something they're sensitive about, these values might seem to pull you in different directions. These value conflicts are often at the heart of our most challenging decisions. But awareness of what's actually happening, identifying the specific values in tension, can help us navigate these situations with greater clarity and intentionality. Take a moment now to consider a current decision you're facing or a recurring challenge in your life. Can you identify which of your values might be relevant to this situation? Are there values in conflict? This awareness alone can be transformative, bringing subconscious influences into the light where you can work with them consciously. Section 4, Values Alignment Assessment. Now that we understand how values influence our decisions, let's assess how well your current life is aligned with your core values. This alignment, or lack thereof, is often what determines our sense of fulfillment and authenticity. When we're living in ways that honor our deepest values, we experience what psychologists call value congruence, a powerful source of well being and life satisfaction. Let's do a simple assessment together. Think about the major areas of your life. Your work or professional life, your relationships, how you spend your free time, your health and self care practices, your home environment, your financial decisions. For each area, consider to what extent am I honoring my core values in this domain? You might rate each area on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 represents perfect alignment with your values. Where did you notice the strongest alignment? These are likely areas where you feel a natural sense of satisfaction and rightness. And where did you notice gaps? These misalignments often represent sources of underlying tension or dissatisfaction in your life places where change might bring greater fulfillment. Let me share another example. David valued creativity and continuous learning, yet his job had become routine and predictable. While analyzing his values alignment, he realized his work scored only a 310 on his personal scale. Rather than immediately quitting, he had a conversation with his manager about taking on more innovative projects. This small shift toward better value alignment significantly increased his job satisfaction. Meanwhile, Alina discovered that while she deeply valued health and vitality, her daily habits weren't reflecting this value at all. This awareness became the motivation she needed to establish new routines that honored her true priorities. It's important to note that perfect alignment in all areas isn't realistic or even necessary. What matters is being intentional about where you prioritize alignment and accepting the natural tensions that arise in a complex life. Sometimes, a season of life may require temporarily compromising on certain values to honor others. For instance, a parent of young children might need to place family needs above personal freedom for a time. What's crucial is making these choices consciously rather than drifting into patterns that persistently violate your core values. The key question becomes, are the compromises you're making conscious choices that reflect your priorities, or have you unconsciously drifted into a life that doesn't reflect what matters most to you? Before we move on, take a moment to identify one area where improving value alignment could significantly enhance your life quality. What small step could you take this week to bring greater alignment in that area? Remember this insight as we continue. Section 5, Resolving Values Conflicts. As we've discussed, some of our most challenging decisions arise when our values seem to conflict with each other. Let's explore how to navigate these situations with greater wisdom and clarity. First, it's important to recognize that values conflicts are normal and unavoidable parts of a complex life. The goal isn't to eliminate these tensions, but to navigate them consciously. Here's a structured approach for working through values conflicts. Step 1, clearly identify the specific values in tension. For example, rather than feeling generally torn about a job offer, name the exact values involved. This decision involves a tension between financial security and work life balance. Step 2, explore creative solutions that might honor both values. Often, what initially appears as an either or choice has unexplored alternatives. Could you negotiate flexible hours? Could you find security through multiple income streams rather than one demanding job? Step 3, if compromise is necessary, make it consciously and with self compassion. Sometimes, you will need to prioritize one value over another in a specific situation. Making this choice consciously and with awareness of the temporary nature of the compromise can reduce internal conflict. Let me share a relatable example. Jordan valued both authentic self expression and harmonious relationships. When a politically charged topic arose at a family gathering, these values seemed in direct conflict. Should he express his true thoughts and risk tension, or remain silent for the sake of harmony? After reflection, Jordan found a middle path. He decided to share his perspective, but in a way that emphasized points of connection rather than division. He also chose to focus more on listening than persuading. This approach honored both his need for authenticity and his value of relationship harmony. Another powerful approach is to recognize the hierarchy of your values in different contexts. For instance, in your professional life, excellence and achievement might be primary values. In your personal relationships, presence and connection might take precedence. Understanding these contextual priorities can help resolve apparent conflicts. Consider Alex, who declined an optional weekend work project despite valuing career success. He recognized that in the domain of weekends and family time, his value of parental presence outranked professional advancement. This clarity allowed him to make the decision without the guilt that would have come from an unexamined values conflict. Now, think about a recurring values conflict in your own life. Can you identify the specific values involved? Might there be creative solutions that honor both? Or is this a situation that calls for conscious prioritization? By bringing awareness to these internal dynamics, you transform unconscious struggles into conscious choices, a profound shift that enhances both decision making and peace of mind. Section 6: Living Your Values Daily. As we approach the end of our time together, let's focus on practical ways to more fully embody your core values in daily life. Living your values isn't about perfection, it's about direction and intention. Each small, values aligned choice creates momentum toward a more authentic life. Here are some practical strategies. First, create visual reminders of your core values. This might be as simple as a list in your journal or phone, symbols that represent each value, or a vision board that captures their essence. Second, develop daily micro practices that honor your values. If growth is a core value, perhaps begin each day with 5 minutes of learning. If connection matters deeply, maybe establish a practice of one meaningful conversation daily. Third, use your values as decision making filters. When facing choices, large or small, pause to ask, which option best aligns with my core values? Finally, consider sharing your values journey with trusted others. Speaking your values aloud and discussing them with supportive people can strengthen your commitment to living them authentically. Remember, this is an ongoing journey. Your understanding of your values will deepen with time and experience. What matters is the continued commitment to awareness and alignment, to building a life that genuinely reflects what matters most to you. Conclusion and tomorrow's preview. Today, we've explored the profound influence your core values have on every aspect of your life. We've discovered how to identify these values, assess their alignment in your current reality, and navigate the inevitable tensions between competing values. The awareness you've developed today is truly transformative. It brings subconscious influences into conscious awareness, where you can work with them intentionally. I encourage you to continue reflecting on your values in the coming days. Notice when they're guiding your choices. Observe when they're in harmony or conflict. This ongoing awareness is where the real power lies. Tomorrow, in day 6 of our transformation series, we'll build on today's foundation as we explore creating your personal mission statement, a powerful way to translate your core values into a clear vision for your life's purpose and direction. If you found value in today's exploration, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss any episode in this daily series. Each day builds upon the previous ones, creating a comprehensive framework for authentic living. I'd also love to hear about your core values in the comments below. Sharing your insights might help others in their own discovery process. Thank you for joining me on this journey of transformation. I'm Dawn Catalyst, and I'll see you tomorrow for another step toward your most authentic, purposeful life.